Okay, so I'm back in my tent. I made the promise to be happy to repeat this story for anybody who asks. So Thunder Barb, Donna said your name wrong, but I'll put this in a response to the comment that you asked me. What happened? The short answer is difficult to get to. What happened is that at the end of 2020, I was invited to move away from the city that I lived in into the town that I currently live in now by a woman who said she wanted to financially support my creative work, specifically my literary work and narrative podcast. This is not Robert Longshore. We established a reciprocal relationship where I would provide for her in mental health terms. I'd be there to talk to her and I'd be there to comfort her through her very troubling relationship with her mother. And together we would get her back on her feet so that she could work again. And then once she was working, I could go and get a job because I didn't need to be in the house that much. It doesn't take that much time to write a novel. And in fact, I spent a year working on it. It's on my Blogspot, and I have all of it up on the Patreon that I put on the Blogspot. All that work, I proved that I did do it. And in fact, I've been filtering it through Gemini, and it's good. It's good. It's not great, but it's a good place to start. It's a good introduction to get people to see that I can write. I'm pretty good. And so 4 years of domestic abuse is what happened. And I can say that because I've decided not to press charges because she's still paying for my phone. And so if she's still going to reciprocate in what she promised, which was to help me work, then there's no reason to be vengeful. Ultimately, what happened is that she decided that she didn't want me around anymore, and it was easier to just make me homeless. Now, a lot of stuff happened in between, but ultimately what happened is that she evicted me, and I took her to court over it. I wasn't just going to disappear. Now, Zanesville, Ohio has a serious homelessness problem. What they have, in fact, is a mill at the local court level. The judges at this level are just a mill for getting the eviction lawyers their money. And the reason for that is because poverty is real and economic recessions hit small towns in a different way than they do cities. In a city, you can always gig as a person with poverty. You're never going to get a social reputation that precedes you at a job. In a small town, you absolutely will. So what happens is that people who make mistakes in their lives can't fix those mistakes in small towns, and outsiders are just not going to get any sort of help from the town. And so what happened is the judge saw somebody who was vulnerable, and he took that opportunity to make sure that I was homeless. I literally said the phrase, "I am throwing myself on the mercy of this court that you don't make me unjustly homeless." And he said, "Well, you better get acquainted with the homeless shelter." So what I did is I took all the gifts that she had bought me, I pawned them, and I bought this tent. And I'm going to make it work until the city makes me leave.